Well, it's a very warm welcome and thank you for joining me on this independent off-tube studio commentary. One of the early kickoffs in the Championship today. It's at Kenilworth Road where Luton Town take on Bournemouth. The game has just got underway. It's 16th against first, with Bournemouth looking to try and extend their lead over Fulham. They currently have a 1-point advantage over the Cottagers, although Fulham do have a game in hand already. That's before Bournemouth have even played today. Up against a Luton Town side currently 10 points clear of relegation. Certainly Nathan Jones will be pleased about that. 3 games without defeat for Luton as well. The last win was that 4-0 win against Harrogate Town in the Cup. Before that, an impressive draw at home to Fulham, and that's a 3-0 win away to Blackpool. Bournemouth go into this game off the back of 3 wins themselves, having beaten the QPR 1-0 away from home on the 27th of December. They then followed that up with a 3-0 win against Cardiff City before a 3-1 win away from home against Yeovil Town in the FA Cup. It is Bournemouth in possession early on in their change of white strip this afternoon. I'll just remind you of the 2 teams. For Luton, it is James Shea in goal, a back 3 of Reece Burke, Kai Naismith and Sonny Bradley. And it's 4 across the middle, James Bree, Pele Ruddock, Allan Campbell and Amari Bell, with Jordan Clark, Cameron Jerome and Elijah Adebayo leading the line. As far as Bournemouth, it is Mark Travers in goal, with a back 4 of Jack Stacey, Gary Cahill, Lloyd Kelly and Leif Davis. 3 in midfield, Lewis Cook, Jefferson Lerma and Emiliano Marcondes, with Ryan Christie, Jadon Anthony and Dominic Solanke as the 3 up front. And here come Luton now. First time they've had a bit of possession, a couple of minutes into the game now. And it's a long ball over the top from Bradley, looking for the run of Bree. He is in an offside position. And in any case, the ball over to him on that right-hand side. There's just a little bit of it. I mentioned it's one of 2 early kickoffs in the Championship. Cardiff City are taking on Blackburn. That game kicked off a minute or so ahead of ours. There's also an early Premier League game available on our service. Just a small matter of Manchester City taking on Chelsea. That also a 12:30 kickoff. Goalless after 3 minutes in that game. A goal kick to Bournemouth taken short. Playing out from the back now with Lloyd Kelly. Bit of space down the left-hand side now for Leif Davis, on loan until the end of the season from Leeds United. Good ball from him to find Solanke, and then it's Marcondes' ball straight into the 6-yard box. Quickly cleared away by Bell coming in from that left-hand side, but it was pretty easy really for Bournemouth to get forward. Davis spots the run of Solanke. Great first-time pass there from Solanke to find Marcondes, and he just clips the ball into the penalty area just to the edge of the 6-yard box. Cleared out for a throw, which is going to be taken now by Davis down the left-hand side, looking for Marcondes. Just crowded out of it there on the line, and the ball goes out for a goal kick. But certainly Bournemouth will be looking to try and get an early lead in this game against a Luton side, as I mentioned, have been showing some good form recently. Their form leading up to the Christmas period was a little bit more sketchy. And, certainly Nathan Jones will be hoping that his side can pick up a bit of form. Their next game is away to Reading in midweek, whereas Bournemouth don't play in midweek. They play next weekend at home to Hull City. Cahill there clears the ball out quickly, trying to organise his defence as well, although Luton go towards their own penalty area. It's Naismith now over towards the left-hand side. Bell trying an early ball to try and play in Jordan Clark, but that's out for a throw. Pressing straight away there from Elijah Adebayo, who has scored in the last 3 consecutive games, has never scored in 4 consecutive league games, so we'll be hoping to try and break that particular stat this afternoon. Ball out for a throw to Bournemouth down the right-hand side. Jack Stacey into Solanke, back to Stacey. His pass just about gets through to Marcondes, and there's a bit of space here down the left-hand side. Davis is just ahead of Marcondes, as is Anthony now down the left-hand side. Back towards Marcondes. Luton trying to play relatively high line here just to stop Bournemouth getting towards that penalty area. But they're coming forward in numbers now down the right-hand side. Breaking into the penalty area now is Ryan Christie. Lays it off to Lerma just at the edge of the D. Back towards Davis. Davis trying to thread a ball through, but that's well played there by James Bree. He tries to clear it. That deflects off the back of Anthony. And there's still a bit of work here for Luton to try and clear their lines. The ball goes out for a throw. It will be a throw to Bournemouth. Referee Lee Doherty showing that it's going to be a throw to the visitors. Taken quickly. Davis now going back towards Lerma. Lewis Cook under pressure there in midfield from Campbell, having to go back towards the halfway line now for Jefferson Lerma. But certainly 5 minutes in, it does look as though the visitors are trying to stamp a bit of authority down in terms of their possession. Cameron Jerome now just dropping a little bit deeper to try and get his side back into possession. Clearance though from Rhys Burke doesn't get very far at all. And Bournemouth now just going back towards the halfway line. It's with Kelly. Lloyd Kelly back towards Cahill, being closed down here by Adebayo. Still had enough time to go towards Jack Stacey. Miscontrolled there in midfield by Lewis Cook. He's caught in possession, and now Cameron Jerome at the edge of the area feeds it in towards Adebayo. Adebayo with the strike, saved by the feet of Mark Travers. But the offside flag goes up. Looks as though there was an offside. And this ball was played into Cook. He tried to just flick it, loses possession. And as Jerome plays that ball in towards Adebayo, he is offside. It's made a little bit easier for the linesman by the fact that Cahill had stepped just in front of the line at the edge of the area, the edge of the 18-yard box, and it was clear to see that Adebayo was offside. But here come Bournemouth now at the other end with Ryan Christie trying an early shot from the edge of the area. Left footer playing on the right-hand side, trying to get a bit of curl on that one, but never really gets the power behind it. And an easy save in the end for Luton keeper James Shea. Punts it long this time, but it's straight to Gary Cahill. And then Jefferson Lerma goes square to Jack Stacey. Luton having to track back here as Stacey goes on a really good run. Plays a quick 1-2 with Solanke. Tries to get the ball back to the Bournemouth number 9. But the pass to Solanke was just a little bit under hit. Luton don't enjoy possession for very long though. Anthony now wins it back for Bournemouth. Jack Stacey over towards Ryan Christie now. Down the right-hand side. Under pressure here from Amari Bell. As the overlap from Stacey has crossed into the area. It's cleared at the edge of the 6-yard box by Naismith. Still work here for Pele Roddick to get rid of the ball. It's played back towards Lewis Cook, but that's cross from the right-hand side is overhit. Out for a throw to Luton now down the right-hand side. Certainly there was that one chance for Luton with Jerome playing the ball through towards Elijah Adebayo. He was definitely in an offside position. Other than that, really has all been Bournemouth in terms of the early press, in terms of the early attacking possession. Ball now hooked up in the air. Fighting to get underneath it there was Ryan Christie, but now it's Carl Naismith who can bring the ball away for Luton. Tries a long diagonal ball to pick out Cameron Jerome. Headed away at the edge of the area by Davis, but that ball drops straight through to Campbell. Allan Campbell now back towards Rhys Burke on the right-hand side. And now it's with Sonny Bradley. To Naismith. Tries another long ball now to pick out Jerome. That's a good header away by Kelly. And then Davis completes the work with a good clearance up towards the halfway line. Taken down by Solanke. Really has improved in that target man role. May well be that spells in the Championship have helped him as well, just because there is that bit more physicality. Do have to sometimes deal with a bit more of a long ball game. Sometimes, of course, although it's not the way that Bournemouth play by and large. But I think that it has certainly helped Solanke. I was never really that convinced initially when I saw him in that sort of number 9 role, but he has certainly grown into it over the last couple of seasons. Just as I say that, though, Bournemouth number 9 was in an offside position as he was trying to close down Rhys Burke. So that will be a free kick to Luton. I'll tell you what, it was very close. Not sure that Bournemouth missed out on too much there anyway. It did look to me as though Burke was going to get the clearance in anyway. But very close to being a level there. Dominic Solanke. 9 minutes on the clock, independent off-tube studio commentary. It is goalless between Luton Town and Bournemouth, and it's also goalless in the other 2 games that have kicked off early this afternoon. Goalless between Cardiff City and Blackburn, and in the Premier League it is also 0-0 between Manchester City and Chelsea. But here come Luton now with the ball played into the box. Adebayo looked to try to play that square. It's cleared away to the edge of the area now. Jayden Anthony under a bit of pressure, going back towards Kelly, who slices his clearance out for a throw. This will be a chance for Luton to try and get players into the box again. Luton's next 6 fixtures, 4 of them are going to be away from home. It's just Bristol City and Blackburn at home to come. Reading and Sheffield United away are their next 2 games. As the ball now played back towards Sonny Bradley. He's closed down by Dominic Solanke. The ball deflects back into the path of the goalkeeper Shea. Just trying to beckon his players to get a bit further forward. He's not looking to try and roll this out. He's going to clear it long again. You see Nathan Jones So back to his familiar haunt here at Kenilworth Road. He's had a very high opinion of him, even after he briefly departed for pastures new. But back now at Kenilworth Road, looking to try and stabilise Luton in the Championship. It's always such a competitive league, it really is. And so we can see that it's starting to thin out a little bit now, but at one stage it really was a very flat top half of the table. Even now, Blackpool in 12th place are only 8 points off Huddersfield Town in 6th place. And of course, with the pandemic and teams having fixtures postponed, it's going to be a lot of teams that have fixtures to make up. Luton and Swansea and Sheffield United are sides that have only played 22 games before today's fixtures. And there are a few sides on 23 like Peterborough and Preston and Coventry. And of course, sides like Huddersfield who have actually played 26 games. So by the time all that is sorted out, could have a very different looking championship table. But for the time being, it is Luton just starting to see a bit more of the ball, although possession stat for the first 11 minutes is 69% in favour of Bournemouth, 31% for Luton. But here come the home side now, down the right-hand side with James Bree, closed down quickly there by Leif Davis. So it looks like it's going to be Bree to take this throw. I want to think about a long throw, goes back towards Burke. He goes towards the halfway line here for Naismith. Naismith, excellent ball this time to pick out Bree, and his first time cross, looking for the run of Allan Campbell. He actually gets a shot away, but runs straight into Lloyd Kelly, cleared down the left-hand side. It's Bell now, Amari Bell down the left, gets that ball in towards Adebayo. Adebayo just losing his balance as he gets his shots away. He does get a shot away, but it was a tame effort in the end. It wasn't as powerful as he would have wanted. And an easy clearance now for Lerma up towards the halfway line. This is better from Luton now. They're just forcing Bournemouth into a couple of long clearances. Just need to try and use this increase in possession now as James Shea clears it long up towards the halfway line, headed on by Bell. It goes out for a throw. Both sides have got their hands up, and it does go in favour of the home side. Bell gets this ball quickly from Bradley, carries on his run down the left, and then Cameron Jerome just trying to feed that ball in. He was playing it back towards Elijah Adebayo, who actually started going forward. Two ended up missing each other, and here come Bournemouth now with Jefferson Lerma over towards Jack Stacey down the right hand side. Christie now back in towards Lewis Cook, and Lerma playing it back towards Lloyd Kelly. Bournemouth keen to try and get that rhythm back that they had in the first 5-6 minutes of this game. Now it's with Jayden Anthony looking to get a good ball. It's a great ball into the penalty area. First time strike there as well, saved by James Shea. That was a superb ball from Anthony to pick out the run of Christie, who timed it just right as well. A very measured effort towards goal, which was well saved by James Shea. Bournemouth back in possession here with Jefferson Lerma. He goes square to Jack Stacey. Now it's played in towards Ryan Christie. Stacey on the overlap, but the ball is cleared away by Naismith. And out for a throw to Bournemouth down the right-hand side. I'd like to see a replay of that ball from Jayden Anthony. It was superb from around 40 yards. Clips it over the top to the edge of the 6-yard box. And hitting that first time was Ryan Christie. That's where sometimes being a left footer playing on the right can just work against you. Because he wanted to hit it first time, so he hits it with his weaker right foot. Got it on target, but didn't really get the power behind it. Here is Lerma now at the edge of the area. Finds Jack Stacey. Emiliano Marcondes now back to Lerma. Leif Davis thought about a shot, was being closed down, goes square to Anthony. Back into Marcondes. Now it's with Lewis Cook, space down the right hand side for Stacey. Lifts the ball over the top. But that one is away for a throw to Luton in the end. Just a bit too much power on that, but a good response there from Bournemouth. Considering that they just had a few minutes where Luton were just starting to get into the game a little bit more. Can tell you as well that there has been an early goal at the Cardiff City Stadium, and it is the visitors Blackburn that have taken the lead, with Joe Rothwell scoring for Rovers there, giving them a 1-0 lead. Blackburn starting the day in third place. They're only 3 points behind Bournemouth with the same number of games played. Although Bournemouth's goal difference is 6 better than Blackburn's at kick-off today, so Even if Bournemouth would have to lose by a few goals and Blackburn would have to win by a few goals for that to change this afternoon. But certainly Tony Mowbray's side have just shown a little bit more resilience in the last 7 or 8 weeks. As that fight for the top two really hots up in the Championship. Here come Bournemouth again though with Kelly. Into Davis, back to Lloyd Kelly again. Once again, Luton doing what they can, playing a high offside line, making it just that little bit more difficult for Bournemouth to send balls in over the top. Now played back towards goalkeeper Mark Travers. So just the one save to make so far. Over towards Jack Stacey. Plenty of pressing here from Luton inside the Bournemouth half. But the visitors are able to get the ball away. A long sweeping ball from Jefferson Lerma. Good header away by James Bree. Kept alive here by Leif Davis for Bournemouth. Now it's with Marcondes. Looks up, thought about going over towards the right-hand side. Plays it in towards Solanke. Solanke does really well. Had 2 Luton players on his back. Able to get the ball away from them. And now over to Davis. It's back with Kelly on the halfway line. Tries a long ball over the top, looking for Christie. Just a little bit too much height on that one. And it's straight through to James Shea. Christie there just a little bit too keen to try and win the ball back. It will be a free kick to Luton. 5 assists for Ryan Christie this season for Bournemouth. Makes him the club's joint leader in terms of assists. We're certainly looking to try and increase that as the season goes on. But Cameron Jerome now trying to win a throw for his side down the left. Under pressure there from Gary Cahill. So the ball goes out for a throw to Luton. So we'll have a chance to try and get this ball into the box. Cameron Jerome, experienced forward. 35-year-old now. Will be 36 by the start of next season. But plenty of players to aim for here for Amari Bell. He's getting as much of a run-up as he can here. Leaning up against the advertising boards. Gets a good throw in. And that's a really good header by Naismith. It goes towards the line. Punched away by Travers. And swept away towards the halfway line. Here is James Bree. Hoops the ball back in towards the left-hand edge of the penalty area. Taken down and volleyed towards goal. And that's another great save from Travers. It was Naismith with the strike. Travers using his feet there. David De Gea to put that ball away for a corner. But it was a good throw from Bell. A really good header from Naismith to head that one on. And then it was Reece Burke who headed it towards goal. It was looping, clipping the crossbar before it was punched away by Travers. Second ball pumped in by Bree. And this time it was Naismith with the shot himself, going for the near post. But a good save there from Travers, deflecting it away for a corner kick. Plenty of Luton players to aim for. Referee Lee Doherty just doing a bit of housework inside that penalty area. A lot of pushing and shoving as this ball is swept in to the edge of the 6-yard box. Good punch away by Travers. Back into the penalty area. Oh, and Naismith couldn't control it first time. That was a good chance for him after the ball was played in by Ruddock. Another cross coming in. It's dropping to Ruddock at the edge of the area. And goodness me, he volleys that towards goal, but he shanks it a long way wide. Actually hits one of his own teammates at the edge of the area before going out for a throw. But we'll see here again as this ball was played in. It's Marcondes who's pushed to the ground. He feels as though he was being impeded. Just wondering here as Travers gets a punch on that. I mean, must have, it was a headlock on Marcondes there from Sonny Bradley, although he would argue that he was being stopped by Marcondes as he was trying to get forward. But here come Bournemouth now. That was probably the best chance we've had for a goal in this game. The 2 efforts from Luton after that throw. Now the ball is played back in towards the edge of the Luton penalty area, and referee gives a free kick. Frustration there for James Bree. He can't quite believe it, but the free kick is given against him. He's just holding on to Jayden Anthony there at the edge of the box. Anthony hits the deck, and you can see from that look from James Bree, he's absolutely furious. He still can't believe that the free kick's been given against him. Now we can see James Shea just trying to organise his wall. because this is certainly within shooting range. And we can see Marcondes is shaping up to try and take this one. Christie is there as well, but it is over on the left-hand side, so you feel it does favour more the right-footed effort, really. Unless Christie can really curl that ball around the wall and then find the top corner. I think that Marcondes with his right foot's got more of a chance here, but certainly Luton stacking up this wall. They did have 5 in it at one stage. It's still a 5-man wall with just a couple of players at the edge. There's a 4-man Bournemouth wall at the edge, and now it's Marcondes' effort palmed up in the air by James Shea before he makes the save. It was fairly comfortable for him, and it had a bit of movement on it. It was going straight down the middle, though. Didn't really get the curl that he wanted there, Marcondes. And an easy save in the end for Shea. Didn't fancy it. Didn't fancy catching it first time. Just palmed it up in the air like something off the volleyball court before catching it eventually. Now it's with Pele Roddick going back towards James Shea. Ari Bell, and he's got a bit of space here down the left. He's also got support from Cameron Jerome as Jerome breaks into the penalty area. Bell just held off passing it to him, and that allows Bournemouth to try and get back possession, but they don't hold on to it for very long. Luton really are pressing here, trying to win the ball back, and we can see Scott Parker just trying to encourage his players there. He would have liked Bournemouth just to be a little bit more expansive early on. We can see that Luton have had 5 shots, 2 of which have been on target. Bournemouth have had 3 shots, 3 of which have been on target. Luton have had double the touches in the opposition box, but Bournemouth have had almost double the possession, with 34% for Luton, 66% for Bournemouth. But here come the home side now. Down the left-hand side, a cross comes in, palmed up in the air by Travers before it's cleared. Well, not cleared very far, though. Jayden Anthony loses the ball. And now it's James Bree with his cross into the box, headed away by Kelly. And then Cook gets a bit more distance on it, up towards the halfway line. Christie doesn't control it. And now it's Naismith bringing it forward. He strikes it from the edge of the area. Charged down by Jack Stacey. Loose ball now drops towards Campbell. His ball into the box. Just stopped at the edge of the 6-yard box. There is an offside flag, though. It was Leif Davis. He did what he could to at least stop the ball reaching its intended target, but he only stopped it inside the 6-yard box. Didn't really get any distance on the clearance. Let's just see how close this offside was. There could have been a free kick there to Luton, in all fairness, but the referee, whether he didn't think it was a free kick or played the advantage, just see from this replay where the offside might have been. Or is this a foul given, perhaps? Still not sure entirely what that decision was for, but it looks as though it was a free kick against Elijah Adebayo. Mark Travers and West Brom's Sam Johnstone leading the league in terms of clean sheets, 11 each. And it's a short goal kick this time from Travers. 23 minutes gone, independent off-tube studio commentary. Still goalless here between Luton and Bournemouth, but you certainly can't fault the two sides for their efforts. And now Bournemouth making a bit of a mess of this goal kick. Just a bit of pressing here from Luton, and they've been able to win themselves a gift of a corner kick, really. Just a bit of a mess there for Lloyd Kelly. It's a short. It was actually a free kick after that offside inside the 6-yard box. It was Travers to Cahill, and then Cahill fired a ball back to Kelly. And Kelly, in the end, it gets a stroke of luck, because I think the final touch was off Elijah Adebayo, but they've got to be more careful there, Bournemouth. That was a warning. Of course, teams across the divisions now will always want to play out from the back, but it can't be a rule that's set in stone. You have to have that option of occasionally playing it long, otherwise opposition sides, just law of averages tells you that at some point you are going to give away an easy ball at the edge of your own box. But now Bournemouth in possession around about the halfway line, with Kelly back towards Gary Cahill. Long ball from Cahill looking for Jayden Anthony, and that was a clever little push there from Jayden Anthony, but the referee was wise to that. Just a little shove in the back of Reece Burke there just to stop him. In fact, it was James Bree, I beg your pardon. He was just trying to jump for the ball just as Anthony was behind him, and that little shove there just made sure that Bree couldn't win the header. But he has been given as a free kick. Jayden Anthony, not the most assists for Bournemouth this season, but he has created the most chances. He's a very skillful player, playing on that left-hand side. To Certainly Scott Parker will be hoping for more from him, but Bournemouth now just stuck in a bit of a corner at the edge of their own penalty area. Marcondes now finds Lewis Cook in a bit of space in midfield, and he goes over towards Jack Stacey. You certainly can't fault the efforts of Luton Town here. They are pressing anywhere they can on the pitch just to try and close down, but despite that, Stacey has a bit of space to get down the right hand side, across into the boxes, straight into the arms of James Shea. Taken down here by Adebayo, away from Lerma, and Lerma shoves him to the ground. It is going to be given as a free kick. Adebayo not letting that one go with the referee. Referee trying to calm him down. I think Adebayo is saying this has been happening all throughout the game already, and he's just trying to make that point. And in the end, the actual contact, I thought initially that it was that push in the back there from Lerma, but there's actually a little bit of a trip there as well. That brings down the Luton number 11. And he's now waiting at the edge of the penalty area where Bournemouth have made their offside line. It's a good chance here. Luton have got a couple of tall players. Adebayo in particular is going to be a target, as is Reece Burke. And it's going to be James Bree's ball, and it's a good ball as well. It's nodded on by Cameron Jerome, but it looks like he might have been in an offside position when that free kick was taken. Flag goes up. We'll see from this replay. And yes, Jerome just leaning ahead of the line there as that ball is played. It's a good spot from the linesman, of course. They don't have any video assistance in the Championship. Still got to use the old-fashioned way of just calling it as you see it, which, of course, quite a few fans are still in favour of. I must admit that I was always a fan of VAR when it was first introduced, but obviously since then the application of it has left a lot to be desired. In the meantime, though, Bournemouth just guilty of being a little bit slack in midfield. Marcondes doing his best to try and win the ball back. A couple of strong challenges there from the Dane, but no free kick given. And it is Bournemouth in possession now in midfield here with Leif Davis down the left-hand side. He's got Anthony for support, and that's where the ball has gone. Anthony just holds it up and then plays it back towards Lloyd Kelly. Kelly now back to Cahill. Luton trying to close down here, but Bournemouth shifting the play over towards the right-hand side now. Marcondes finding Christie. Now Jack Stacey being closed down by Bell. Goes inside towards Lewis Cook, who puts an early cross in. Good header away by Bree. Or miscontrolled at the edge of the area. Still a chance here for Bournemouth as Stacey lays it off now for Leif Davis. Davis finding Jayden Anthony. Anthony just drops her shoulder, finds that little bit of space, and then finds Davis with a good cross into the box from Davis. Marcondes heads it on. Then it takes a deflection off Amari Belt, and it is out for a Bournemouth corner. Good play this from Anthony to find Davis. It's a quickly taken corner aimed at Dominic Solanke. He feels as though he might have been stopped at the edge of the 6-yard box. Then Marcondes jumps into the goalkeeper. And James Shea with a few choice words there for Marcondes. Certainly Emiliano Marcondes, the former Brentford man, is outspoken to say the least. Whether it's with the referee, the opposition fans. He's been known to have a few rants on social media as well. And on this occasion, I'll tell you what, there is a bit of a push on Dominic Solanke. Whether it's enough to think about a penalty, I'd say that Pele Roddick's probably okay there for that. But then Marcondes does jump into the goalkeeper. Even in the old days where you could be a bit more physical, I think that probably would have been seen as obstruction. It's Luton up the other end now. Good challenge, though, from Davis to stop James Bree in his tracks. Out for a throw. Bree has got the short option of Pele Roddick. I think Roddick was actually coming across to take a long throw, but Bree sends him away. Just says it's going to be a throw now. And ball taken in towards Adebayo. Nobody marking him. Oh, it's going to be an own goal. And it's in the back of the net. It's Luton that take the lead on 29 minutes. And Adebayo getting the high fives from his teammates. But it's actually going to be a Lloyd Kelly own goal that puts Luton in front. And to the home side, we can see Kelly there very frustrated with himself. It's Bree with the throw. He waved Roddick away from the long throw, but he picks Roddick out. Roddick's cross just gets flicked on, looks like by Sonny Bradley, and then the ball deflects into the path of Adebayo. Nobody marking him, gets a strike away, saved by Mark Travers, and just as he saves it with his foot, it ricochets off Lloyd Kelly and into the back of the net. Kelly's only stood about 3 or 4 yards out from goals. There's nothing he can do. He's almost putting his hands up to apologise as that ball deflects off him. But straight away, there's a bit of an inquisition there inside the Bournemouth penalty area as to how it came to that. The fact is that Adebayo had pretty much a couple of square yards around him to shape for the shot. It wasn't the best effort from Adebayo. I think he would agree with himself that he probably would have liked to get a bit more power into the strike. But in any case, Travers could only save it with his foot, and the ball deflects into Lloyd Kelly and into the back of the net. So 31 minutes gone. Independent Off-Tube Studio commentary. It is Luton Town 1, Bournemouth 0. It's still Cardiff City 0, Blackburn 1 in the other early kickoff in the Championship. And after 32 minutes, it is goalless at the Etihad, with the game between Manchester City and Chelsea. Just 2 efforts on target in that game as well. Both of them have been from Manchester City. Plenty of Championship games in the this afternoon, but I'll just make this point very quickly, that Luton have only dropped 2 points this season from winning positions. They are the league leaders in that regard, so that really is a good stat for Nathan Jones's side. They are difficult to beat once they have a lead, Luton, and they'll certainly be hoping to extend that stat this afternoon with a win against the league leaders. Certainly Blackburn currently winning away at Cardiff will be very pleased to hear that Bournemouth are losing, and Fulham, who will take on Bristol City later on this afternoon at home as well. They'll certainly be happy to hear that scoreline. But here come Bournemouth. They need to respond, and Jaden Anthony with a jinking run into the box finds Solanke, who turns and gets a shot away, stopped by Sonny Bradley, cleared up towards the halfway line. Kelly, well, he had a bit of a collision there with Cameron Jerome, and Jerome certainly felt as though he was fouled, but no free kick given. Stacey over towards Ryan Christie. Christie now looking to try and get a shot away, being stopped by Bell, leaves it for Jefferson Lerma. He then tees up Lewis Cook, plays it into Marcondes inside the penalty area. Marcondes runs straight into he looks like he runs into Pele Roddick there, brings him down, and it is going to be a free kick to Luton. Marcondes isn't very happy with that decision. This will be good news for Luton. It just slows things down. Gives them that little bit more breathing space after taking an early lead. You can see that probably was a foul on Cameron Jerome as Kelly collided with him. Referee Lee Doherty hasn't been too pedantic in this game. He's given a couple of sort of free kicks for lesser challenges, but by and large, I think he's has tried his best to let the game flow. As it's Potts, Lansbury, Berry, Sluga, Onyedima, Osho, and Carlos Gomez on the bench for Luton Town this afternoon. It's Rogers, Kilkenny, Meffam, Pearson, Hill, Lowe, and goalkeeper Nyland on the bench for Bournemouth, as Bournemouth make a bit of a mess of clearing the ball at the edge of their own box. Chancing now for Adebayo to get a shot away. Charged down by Gary Cahill. He's under pressure from Cameron Jerome now over towards the right-hand side. Ball now played up in the air. It's with Lewis Cook. And he plays it square over towards the left-hand side. Leif Davis is off. He's got Marcondes ahead of him, and he has Solanke as well. Solanke with a first-time ball back to Davis. Headed on by Marcondes. Bournemouth in possession at the edge of the Luton penalty area. Jaden Anthony now just holds it up. Going to go back towards Lloyd Kelly. And Kelly under a bit of pressure from Cameron Jerome. I have to say I have been impressed by both sides, but I'm particularly impressed by Luton after that very positive start from Bournemouth. Luton should be aware, though, that Bournemouth have scored more than 2 goals in 15 games this season. Blackburn are next with 14, then Fulham with 13, QPR with 11. But here come Luton now as their chance in now. Adebayo with the effort. It's a curling effort, does get a deflection away, and it is a corner kick. But Adebayo finding space at the edge of the Bournemouth penalty area. It was a good play initially from Clark to win the ball back for Luton. And good tracking as well from Jefferson Lerma, because he slides in just as Adebayo takes the effort. And the ball deflects away. Bit of curl on that as well. But Travers had it covered. It was going wide after that challenge from Jefferson Lerma. So it is a corner kick now to Luton down the right-hand side. Plenty of activity inside the box as this ball outswinger is headed towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's still pinball inside the penalty area. It drops to Cameron Jerome. And on 35 minutes, Luton Town have a 2-goal lead. Bournemouth are unhappy there. They're looking towards the linesman. But it looks like there's no way this goal is going to be disallowed. It is a 2-goal lead now for Luton Town, scoring twice in just a few minutes as Bournemouth heading towards the linesman. And in actual fact, a couple of the coaches are now surrounding the fourth official. Let's just have a look at it. What are they complaining about? Is there an offside against Cameron Jerome? Oh, goodness me. I would say there probably is there, as that ball deflects to Cameron Jerome. He is clearly behind the last defender. This will be a better angle now, just to confirm if he is offside. Oh, I tell you what, Marcondes might just be playing him on. Marcondes might just be playing him on from this angle. It looks as though Marcondes might have been level with Cameron Jerome. It deflects fortuitously into the path of Cameron Jerome here. But let's just see, it's Lewis Cook that makes a mess of falling onto the ball. And then when it drops to Jerome, striker's instinct to be in the right place at the right time. And Cameron Jerome absolutely delighted with the goal. But I tell you what, the flag now has gone up. This is going to cause ruptions here now. There's going to be all sorts of problems here. There's going to be a yellow card for somebody on the Bournemouth bench. I mean, the flag's gone up. The scoreline still appears to be 2-0. Not entirely sure what's happened here. But somebody on the Bournemouth bench has been booked. And it looks as though this goal potentially might be disallowed. And the referee has really got to do some housekeeping here very quickly, our official. And, it looks like after a quick discussion, they haven't got VAR in the Championship, but they've used a sort of mental VAR here between them, the referee and the linesman. And despite Bournemouth initially appealing, the goal was given. They've sort of had a discussion, the referee and the linesman, and now the second goal has been disallowed. So we're back to Luton just having a 1-goal lead. And this really has woken up the crowd, as we see there. Amari Bell just bumping into Jack Stacey. Free kicks given Bournemouth's way, and the Luton fans down that touchline on the far side from the TV pictures that we're getting, absolutely furious. It's a rocking little stadium is Kenilworth Road, and I don't say that in a patronising way. I've been there a couple of times professionally and a couple of times as an away fan, and I can tell you it's not a nice place to go when the home fans are on top. It really is a very intimidating atmosphere, and of course a bit of a collector's item now, those sort of old stadiums sort of still wedged in by housing on all four sides. But here come Luton now down the right hand side, an attempted cross there from Pele Roddick is cleared away for a throw on. Certainly Luton will be hoping that this can now spur them on. They'll feel a little bit wronged about that second goal being disallowed, although I do think it looks like it probably was the right decision. I suppose from Luton's point of view, they'll just be frustrated as to how that decision was reached. But now the ball is played back over towards the edge of the Bournemouth penalty area. Certainly Scott Parker right now would love it to be half-time. We've still got 6 minutes plus injury time to go. And so now it's played back towards goalkeeper James Shea. Just looking to see where his teammates were. And just clears it long, and it goes all the way through towards Mark Travers. Played now towards the left-hand side for Leif Davis. Davis holds it up, plays Plays it back now towards the edge of the area for Lloyd Kelly. And in the meantime, we've virtually had no attacking play from Bournemouth at all. So even though Luton haven't had that second goal given, they'll be very, very pleased with the way they've been able to push the league leaders back into their shell, really. As a long ball is played now towards Jayden Anthony, but looks like Reece Burke will comfortably get there first. He goes back towards goalkeeper Shaves. Long clearance, gets straight through towards... Well, it looks like there could have been a foul there on Jack Stacey. Referee's not interested, though. A long ball played now, looking for Adebayo. Takes it down brilliantly. Plays it in towards Cameron Jerome, who's, as he turns, the ball just deflects off Jack Stacey. It almost went into the path of Cameron Jerome. But unfortunately, from Luton's point of view, just got away from him. And it's now with Mark Condes down the left-hand side. It's getting very lively on those two benches as well, as that second goal was disallowed for Luton. You could see initially the Bournemouth players were furious that the goal was given, and the Bournemouth bench, and then very quickly it was the Luton bench and the Luton players getting very angry when it turned out that the second goal wasn't given. Ball played up towards the halfway line. It's square towards Reece Burke. Burke looks up, finds a bit of space here down the right-hand side for James Bree. And he plays it back in towards Pele Roddick, because really the possession stat will be shifting. I would imagine that throughout the 45 it will still be in favour of Bournemouth. But Luton now with some space, and it's the chance now for Allan Campbell. Campbell with the effort, and it's into the back of the net. And there's not going to be an offside flag, either live or delayed, to save Bournemouth this time. It is going to be a 2-goal lead for Luton. And Scott Parker's side really are under the cosh now. He's had a pretty quiet half so far, has Allan Campbell. But it just opened up in front of him. And gets a really good effort away. Beats Mark Travers low down. And Luton do have that 2-goal lead this time. As we see Sonny Bradley, plenty of space down the middle. Where's the Bournemouth midfield? Feeds that ball into Allan Campbell. Far too much space for him to shape a shot. It's a really good effort as well. Just gets a little bit of movement, develops a little bit of bounce on the ball as he hits it. And it's away from Travers' dive and into the bottom. It's a really good goal from Allan Campbell. He'll be absolutely delighted with that, as will his manager, Nathan Jones. And it's a 2-goal lead for Luton Town now, with just a couple of minutes of regulation play left in the first half. This certainly looks to be the pick of the early kickoffs today. We consider that the game at the Etihad still only had the 2 efforts on goal from Man City. It's still goalless between Man City and Chelsea, and no change in South Wales at the Cardiff City Stadium. It's still Cardiff 0, Blackburn Rovers 1. As here come Bournemouth down the down the right-hand side, I should say. It's with Christie, gets a ball into the box. Bournemouth would love a quick goal to just reduce the arrears before half-time, but it's Cameron Jerome holding it up now for Bournemouth, for Luton, I should say. Everything's just going at 100 miles an hour here at Kenilworth Road. And the visitors just looking to try and diffuse everything here, as Luton really have been up for this game. And as I mentioned, the first 5-7 minutes, it looked as though Bournemouth were going to try and control the game from start to finish, put real pressure on Nathan Jones' side, and they did. But Luton weathered that early storm, and they have been playing superbly well since then. I really have been impressed with Luton, and I've been a little bit surprised by Bournemouth. Just perhaps the sort of the atmosphere here at Kenilworth Road. It's a sort of icy, foggy sort of early kickoff on a Saturday. Perhaps it's just affected Bournemouth a little bit more. But their attack seems to have just waned in the last 15 minutes. And as I say, we've got just over a minute before we hit injury time in this first half. It's Leif Davis down the left-hand side for Bournemouth. Plays it forward to Jayden Anthony. Left-hand edge of the penalty area now. Anthony square to Jefferson Lerma. Lerma tries an effort. Oh, it's just wide. Looked to me as though it might be heading to the top corner, but just curling away from goal from Jefferson Lerma. As he looked up. Didn't have much of a run-up, but it was a really good effort. He develops a lot of power, a lot of curl on this. Just missing the top corner with James Shea diving at full stretch. And that one is away for a goal kick. But Allan Campbell, that's his first goal. The Scottish midfielder in a Luton shirt. Signed from Motherwell. the beginning of this season, the last season, and you'll be absolutely delighted. It's a really good goal from Allan Campbell. Of course, avoidable as far as Bournemouth were concerned. The ball should never have got through to Campbell in the first place from the halfway line, and then Campbell should have been closed down a lot quicker. So really, Scott Parker certainly won't be pleased with how Bournemouth conceded that second goal, which of course could have been a third goal had it not been for the sort of delayed VAR between the referee and his linesman deciding that there was an offside. I do think it was the correct decision, but on another date the referees wouldn't have changed their mind, and we'd be talking about a 3-0 lead, potentially a 3-0 lead for Luton going into the break. As a ball now towards James Bree, nodded out by Anthony, and it looks as though the ball deflected back off Bree. Certainly he wasn't happy with that decision, but it's been given as a throw to Bournemouth. Can say it is now half time at the Etihad, and it is Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0, with second half off Tube Studio commentary of that game available on our service. But Nathan Jones will be absolutely delighted with the way his side have played in this first half, especially as I mentioned, Luton have only dropped 2 points from winning positions this season, and now with the 2-goal lead, you'd imagine that stat is even that little bit more safe than it would have been just at 1-0. As Elijah Adebayo just tries to turn. As he does so, the ball certainly struck his arm. Maybe it wasn't even deliberate, but it certainly gave him an advantage. So a free kick given. And so Jefferson Lerma now in possession for Bournemouth. Plays it forward. That's good play there from Lewis Cook to keep the ball alive. Plays it in towards Ryan Christie. Now Anthony down the left-hand side into Marcondes. Leif Davis now, left-hand edge of the penalty area. Back towards Anthony. With Lewis Cook now, back to Anthony. Inside now towards Leif Davis, but that one's cleared away. And Cameron Jerome is off down the right-hand side for Luton now. Been surrounded by Bournemouth players. Tries to play that ball away from Lloyd Kelly. Who's smart there, Lloyd Kelly, gets his body in the way, effectively giving Cameron Jerome a choice. Either let me turn with the ball or run into me and give me a free kick, and Jerome went for option B. And a long clearance now over the top, looking for Dominic Solanke, who's been starved of service in the last 15 minutes or so. Pretty much since that first Luton goal, the game has just got away from Bournemouth, more than a little bit, and Scott Parker will certainly need to address that at half-time. So looking at that bench, in terms of potential changes, certainly Jamal Lowe, signed from Swansea City, is one potential option. It's a case of whether they can just get enough possession in midfield, but ball played now to Adebayo, cleared out by Lloyd Kelly. That might be the last action of this first half. We've had the full 3 minutes of injury time, and the referee does call time here at Kenilworth Road. It is Luton Town who lead the league leaders, Bournemouth, by 2-0 after an own goal from Kelly and then a great strike from Allan Campbell. And I'm back in 15 minutes for second half off Tube Studio commentary.